Hello, my astrology friends and family. This is Lada from AstroLada.com. And today we have a fascinating interview about remedies. If there is one topic in astrology that never gets old, that people get obsessed and constantly ask me about, this is remedies. And I have the best for you, a new astrologer. She's the best remedies astrologer that I've ever met. She's actually the closest student of Nikola, the late Nikola Stojanovic. And he was teaching her for years and she was giving him ideas for remedies. She was giving to Nikola Stojanovic ideas for remedies and he introduced us remedies. And she's here today. She's joining our team. Welcome to the team, Michelle Pliades Rising.
Michele Pleiades Rising. Yes, yes. Thank you, Lada. It's a pleasure to be here and to finally talk about some of the remedies that I do. And I think that I found Nikola like organically, like I've told you, is I've been searching for my place and studying and learning. And I started studying tarot cards, which kind of led me to numerology. And then I started studying numerology, and it fascinating. The first thing that I studied was about the power of your name. And at that point, I was just like, I don't know, I excited to hear that, how powerful your name is. And I know I'm in sales, so I know the most important thing is saying somebody's name right, spelling their name right, and just, it's our calling card, our name. So through studying the names, then it opened me up to studying what's called astronumerology. And I started studying that, which is combining astrology and numerology together. And of course, I'm like a deep diver. I want to learn everything I can about every single number that I can find in a birth chart. And lo and behold, I have 22 degrees of Leo sun. And so I'm searching, and then I find this article from Nikola, and it just blows my mind. And I started reading all of his, articles that he had, and just searching everything that I could. And I'm like, this guy, this is how I want to learn. Like this is, I think every time that it's like peeling the onion, everything just keeps revealing itself to you, and you start learning different things. And so I just for months, a long time I was reading his stuff. And then finally I said, well, I just need to message this guy. I want his books, I don't know, I just got to contact him and get a reading. So I contacted him, and he responded to me in the email like within a few hours. And he said, and we booked a reading, and I had my first reading with him, and I was blown away. I said, you need to teach me this, how you read the chart, these insights, and I want to go to your school. And he's like, no, I don't have a school right now, but he's like, but I am your teacher, because my ascendant goes, or the ruler of my ascendant goes into his first house. And he's like, we're going to be great friends. Don't worry. I'll teach you. And I said, all right. So I'm going to book readings with you, and you're just going to teach me. So that's what I started to do. Like every few months I would book a reading with him, and he started off with like the essential dignities and going over the signs, and then he actually introduced me to you. He said, I'm just doing this interview with this astrologer, go on her site. She has a YouTube channel. You can learn more stuff there with her in the middle of our teachings. So that's really how I got to this place, is, constantly doing that, and just going over the remedies. And I feel like it kind of organically became that I loved remedies. I'm my first profession, I'm a physical therapist assistant. And so I loved doing like muscle energy work, which made me feel like I want to do Reiki, and I want to do more with my hands. I have Mars and Gemini right on my ascendant. So I knew that was,
I remember
that was,
when you put my husband on the ground in the forest and started doing energy and pulling his legs, and everyone was staring. We were up high in the mountains with Michelle and
yeah,
my husband and a group of other astrology lovers. And my husband was stretched apart like a frog and pushed around. You were brilliant. His pain disappeared.
Well, and the funny thing about that is I had we had a long day of hiking that morning in the Bulgarian mountains, and I had fallen and my legs were swollen and I was in pain. I mean, we had done so much that day, and I thought the best way to heal myself is to heal somebody else. You have to share the energy, and you have to give to receive. But Matt was also complaining that his back was tight, and I'm like, well, gosh, I can't think that, if Matt needs help, I also need help as well. So if I do this is going to help balance his energy. So it's always a give and exchange. So, and it did. I did that little working with him, and then I felt alleviated. And so I think that like energy has just been a huge part of my life, and just get fascinated with the fact of, this is it can help heal people. And I just wanted to, how can I do that? And that was one discussion with Nikola, is once we started talking about remedies, and he was giving me remedies and I was coming up with different things, and he was like, that's great. And then I said, well, I think this is what I want to do, and of course, in true like Nikola fashion, he would laugh like, well, you're 10,000 Aquarius, the ruler's in the sixth, so you're going to help people day to day, with their lives and make it easier. It's 29 degrees, my Uranus. And he's like, you'll know exactly intuitively what to do for people.
Wow.
And then the second ruler goes into the third house. Saturn goes into my third house. And that's your name. So knowing that besides their day-to-day activities and also their name, and then I have a third ruler. I have Jupiter, which is in my 12th. And so he's like, and it's conjunct Chiron in Aries. And he's like, you're going to be an energy healer. So by combining everything together, I was destined. That's how I felt
It's
I was
fascinating.
just destined.
In the mountains this summer we went together. Michelle was doing everyone's horoscopes and giving everyone remedies, and everyone's like, wow, this is fascinating. And so I'd really like us to show us a few examples of what you do, and teach us some of
Yeah.
those incredible things. We have the rare opportunity to be with this genius and to help him, and to help as well with this knowledge, develop it together as well. So we want to learn everything you have.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what I've done was I was looking at your name. Okay. So I figured let's start with you. Let's give you an example. Like your current name, Lada Duncheva. Is that how you say it? Okay. Is that the name that you currently go by, like, or do you go by a different, like, legal name?
No, that's
okay. Okay, so it's different. When we look at it, it's different than like the birth certificate name. I won't look at that. I'll just look at like your current name. So I've already done the calculation on it, and it comes up to a 17. So it also, like, the root number is going to be 8. Now, the exciting thing for you is that the 17 is a very fortunate number, and it's also the immortality number. And so that means that you will leave a legacy, which, I mean, look at you on, all the followers that you have and everything, is you will definitely leave a legacy. So, and it's important to have a fortunate current name, because it shows in your life how you're going to manifest things. Like, is your life going to flow easy? Is it going to be, are you going to have a lot of challenges? If someone, let's say if your name was a 12, which is like a victim number or sacrifice, then that would have meant that you would have been victim of other people. Your business would have suffered, your family would have suffered. You can be doing service for other people and feel like you get no rewards. But for you having a 17, people will obviously, we're always going to have some sort of challenges, but the 17 just gives you that extra, the triumph, where it's just you'll overcome it a lot easier than somebody who were to have a name of, a challenging number. So that was exciting for me.
My number and my name to my husband's then.
Ironically, I checked his name for you as well, because that's the thing. And I think that people get, I guess that it's one of the things that I think that our power to choose is your current name, right? Because your birth certificate name, how you were born, you can't change that. You can go back and change your name, which is a remedy for the name, is to legally change your name or go by a different name or spell it differently. But it still doesn't affect your birth certificate name because there's a different way we look at that. But the current name, hey, you can change it, which will change the birth certificate, but we're all always going to revert back to that one on a different reading. But it's important for people to choose one name and have one name. If it's fortunate, always use the fortunate name. If you have two different names, then you're like decreasing the energy and it's dissipated. So it's not good. Your name is like, you get a business card for your name for your business. This is like your spiritual calling card. It's the name that you use out there. So I did check to make sure. And ironically, if you were to change your name to Matt's last name, it still would be a 17-8. So it's like, I know.
Funny.
It's still just it means that you will leave that legacy. Like this is the path that you're on, right? So the next thing I looked at is your date of birth. So your birthday is the 14th, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we look at that, and that's something that can tell us like your current gifts, like what you are here, your the first impression that people are going to have of you. So kind of like an ascendant, right? Like when people look at you, they're going to be like, this is who she is. We know this. So it's a different way of looking at like your ascendant. And you have the number 14, which is a media number. And let me see, I have some little notes here on 14. The media number gives you like this magnetic presence with people, right? That you can be on YouTube, you can talk, and people will like magnets to you. They want your content, they want to hear from you, they want to learn from you. Okay, this is a number of 5 is like a number of freedom as well, because we also look at the root number of it. And so the number of freedom is like you like the power of like changes. There's always going to be constant changes with you. Like you like to move around, you like things to be different, you don't want to feel shackled. So if you're in a relationship, which ironically 5 people, not just the root, if we're looking at the root 5, these are people who have a lot of relationships, because if they feel like they're shackled or they're secluded, or they don't have their freedom, they want to leave. But the best way to remedy that is to constantly change houses, change jobs, do something different.
I can't even sleep in the same bedroom every night. I go around the house and sleep in different bedrooms, and I drag my husband every weekend somewhere away. And I'm like, we need 3 or 4 houses so we can jump around. It's a bit.
It is.
So
I mean,
true.
it's in your nature, but you're aligning with it because you are in the media. So, you're on social media, you're sharing a message, the 5s are these, just people who have ancient knowledge. So you definitely have that. You have a lot of ancient wisdom, you have a lot of knowledge, and you're in the media. So
Wow.
you are fulfilling your birth code. Where people have challenges is when they don't know what they want and they're not following their path, and then they get lost. So the fact that not only is your current name fortunate, but that you're following your path. So that's very I was excited when I saw that too, when I saw your birthday. And then the next thing I always look at is like your life path. Like, what do you here, what is your goal in life? Like, what are you here to do? And that's just adding up your entire birthday. And that comes up
Like the sun
to
sign, probably.
what's that?
It's a bit like a sun sign.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
That, that
it's like the lessons that you're here to learn. It's the path that you're on. Like, you chose this path for a reason. So the number is a 28, but we also reduce it down to the 10, and then you reduce it down to the 1. So the 28 well, I think the biggest part that I love about it is you have a 10 in there, and the 10 is like an instant manifestation. So that means that anything that you put your mind to, you can get it. Now, there's like a contradiction with that too. It's negative or positive. So if you say this isn't going to work out, it's not going to work out for you. If you say this is it, I know this is it, and this is going to work out, then that's exactly, it's like your will. You have that will to say, here's this, right? This is what I want. This is what I want to accomplish. So that having a 10 is great. The first part of it, you have the 28. So I feel, and you tell me if this is right, but you probably trust the wrong people.
Mhm.
Do you have trust issues with people?
I'm, I'm pretty naive. I trust everyone.
See, there you go. So so if you put your trust in everybody, sometimes they might do something that could break your trust. But I think that is one thing about this path, is that you might trust the wrong people, but you have the 10, so you have to. I feel like every number, there's a good and a bad side of everything, of every number, of every planet, of every sign. And I think that by understanding your chart, understanding your numbers, we just use the highest manifestation of it. So the biggest lesson for you is to understand, hey, I'm either going to be positive or I'm going to be negative about this. And then that is what's going to help manifest out into your life for you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's so true. Is there a way maybe that people are asking already in the chat about remedies? And is there like, can they ask, if someone is interested in a remedy example, if anyone has
Okay.
a question, I can read it off from here.
Sure.
But I have one question.
Okay.
My son has sun, moon, no, moon, Mars opposition. And the moon is in Scorpio, Mars is in Taurus, and he gets very aggressive with me, and I strike back. So we fight.
Mhm.
How can I? He's too uh, energetic. His playing is even rough. I'm constantly bruised, and
Yeah.
sister gets hurt. Like you hurt your family, Mars Moon. Is there
Yeah.
any remedy for that? Like, give us an example.
Okay, so his moon is in Scorpio and then Mars is in Taurus. So going outside would be very, very good for him. So Taurus is nature. So, and then you think of Mars. Mars is your muscles. So take him for runs, take him for walks.
Mhm.
Also having something outside that he can let out his energy. So even putting like a boxing bag outside, and he can go outside and he can just hit it, or little tools, because Mars is a tool.
Mhm.
Okay, so he can go outside and he can get just like a child's hammer or whatever, or start teaching him. Well, gotta be careful with that with a little kid. I don't remember how old he is now, but if he can be careful with tools, but just having
Oh,
him
he's
as,
great with tools, but when he's outside, he's an angel. His aggression disappears. But in the
well,
winter,
that's why, because he's using the energy that he needs. So if he's
wow,
acting up inside, take him outside.
we gotta live in Hawaii. Here it's -5 degrees.
That's true. That's true.
Wow.
And you can also use the current moon to see, what that moon is and where it's at in his chart, because the moon is going to affect him, and you can use that energy through the Mars to pull out that aggression. But he needs to have something safe for him even when he's in the house. So
He
yeah.
great. He cooks with knives. He
Oh,
cooks
there you go.
with knives, and
Yeah.
he comes down as a. So he should be either out digging in the garden or cooking.
Yes. Yeah, he needs to be out in nature and grounding too. Taking off shoes and socks and just walking around outside, because Taurus is the earth, it's nature. So walking around, Mars is active. He needs to be active, and he needs to, even if you just have him in the house, just start jumping or singing. He can do singing in the house, singing while he's cooking, put some music on if he's getting a little rowdy in the house, because you want to use that, the moon is your emotions, and then Taurus is singing. So he wants to use his voice or scream. Just do it to him and have him do it back to you. He's going to mimic you and he's going to learn through you. So just screaming real loud and have him scream and jump up and down, or listen to some screaming music, something that's going to motivate him, because Mars is that initiator, it's that motivator, it's that go-getter, and Taurus is thinking, and it'll help shift his emotions if he can do that.
Wow, thank you so much. That's exactly the things that help him. It's just I'm so lazy. I don't want to do those things with him. But
Does he like music?
He does a lot. Yeah, he
Yeah.
likes having parties and dancing around the house.
There you go. Yeah, put on, Taurus is like round things, so like a round disco ball with some lights, and letting him dance, and just I think that would be good. Just
Yeah,
activities.
so excited when we're gonna dance. He's like, he goes, washes himself, changes his clothes, brushes his teeth, and he comes ready as if he's going out trying to score or something. But that's fantastic.
Yeah, because it's always makes something a competition for him, because Mars, he wants to be that competitor, so you want him to think he's competing at something, like beat me at the kitchen of doing this, race me to the kitchen. That's probably a big thing for him. He'll run real fast, and he needs to use that energy. So
yeah.
but also, what is the best aspect in his chart? We want to enhance that too, not just how to use, the opposition, but what is the best.
Sun trine Saturn. Sun in Aries,
Oh,
trine Saturn in Sagittarius. That's
sun
his
trine,
best.
sun trine. So he can collect rocks,
Oh,
taking him outside while he's walking around. He can pick up rocks. Saturn's rocks and marbles. Uh, so those would be really good things for him to do.
awesome.
Something that he'll be proud of, because Sun is, something that you're proud of, and he wants to feel like a leader. And so getting him involved in like rocks, and those are always fun things for little boys
Maybe do
anyway.
something with rocks as well in the garden. And
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Oh,
So
awesome. Oh, someone is asking, I have Mars in Scorpio, Moon in Taurus. Can you suggest something? The opposite, Mars in Scorpio, Moon in Taurus opposition.
yeah, I mean, pretty much the same things, but I guess it depends on like what house it is into. So I think that plays a big factor as well. Like if it's in coming out of your third house, then when you're driving, you can sing, you know,
Oh,
uh,
yeah. Yeah.
if it's the second house is in Taurus with the moon there, or what is it, Mars in Taurus for them?
Yes. Mars.
Yeah,
Mars in Scorpio, Moon in Taurus.
Mars and Scorpio, moon and Taurus. Yeah, where's it at in their chart? What house?
Oh, so they're not answering, but there is another question. What about remedies for Mars, Neptune?
Okay, so Mars and Neptune. So Neptune is something in the sea, right? So it's like a fish.
Mhm.
So Mars is a swordfish. So you're gonna want to put like either pictures of a swordfish, but also we have to look at like where is it in your chart? Where is it affecting you? If it's in your third house, then I would hang from the mirror a metal swordfish, right? Or you can have a picture of it in your car. If it's in your bedroom, you can have pictures. You can
Mhm.
have pictures of that. Another thing is that Neptune is like religious, and then Mars is fire. So you can have a candle. You can light a candle. So Mars is to light something of fire, and then Neptune is something religious. So whatever religion that you have, go to that church or go to your spiritual botanica and get yourself a candle from there. But I think that the most important thing that I do want to say about these is the intention. I think that a lot of people forget that they want just these quick remedies, but you have to be able to say, I'm lighting this candle to help whatever issues they might have in their life, whether it's relationships or I have a lot of car accidents, saying, I'm right, I'm putting this in here so that way my energy can be cleared and I can have safe travels. If it's at home, I'm lighting this candle so that way, I don't have floods, because Neptune can be a flood in your house and Mars can be a fire. So you can have those depending on where it's at in your chart. So I think that intentional is the biggest thing, is saying, if I give you this remedy, make sure that you're saying when you're doing it, this is why I'm doing it. Because you're, you're the manifester. So you have to make sure that you're putting that out there with it.
Can remedies also be used during difficult transit? For example, I'm going to have Saturn opposition Moon next year, and Saturn will square my daughter, my son's husband's conjunct. All our moons are square or opposition or conjunct by Saturn.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Then for sure, what you want to do is you want to drink a lot of water, cold water with lemon, because Saturn is something sour. It's also something cold. Moon is everything that you drink. And so I would recommend drinking it, because you're putting that into your body and it's nourishing you and changing the energy. We're not changing anything with fate. We're just utilizing the best aspect. We're utilizing the highest frequency of these planets, the transits in your chart. So, you can just put in your fridge, you can put, water with lemon. You can also freeze a glass cup of water in your freezer if you don't like to drink water. But if you do, definitely always have, cold water with you. And when you're experiencing that, just sit there, relax, and say, I'm going to drink this water to relax me. Drink the cold water.
Wow. And put with the intention. So I don't feel
in the tension. Absolutely. You have to sit here and say, you know what? If I'm feeling a little off, something's off, I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to go get me some water, have some ice in it. If you like lemon, okay, because the ice is going to help for Saturn, and then water is for the moon. I go even deeper, and I will look at, if I had the full chart, I would be like, okay, if it's Jupiter, because I have Sun trine Moon trine Jupiter. So a large glass that has some gold in it, right? So I have Jupiter, which is something large. I have a big pitcher in my fridge with water that I drink, and then I'm pouring it into a glass bottle. And they have those bottles right now, like the glass bottle that has crystals in it.
Rock crystal, yeah.
The crystals in it that will help purify your water. So Saturn is something rocks, crystals. So you can have a bottle like that. So you always have it with you. If you can't keep the consistency of the cold, just put it in there and you're drinking Saturn's rocks and the water. And then you still have your glass.
Yeah. So you keep conscious contact with, and at least it manifests, because it needs to manifest that transit or disaster. Yes. At least it manifests in this way, not necessarily with all the other negative ways.
Yeah. And I think too is that you have to have the action. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to do this, and then now my life is going to be better. You have to make the conscious steps. You have to have that action, that initiative to say, this is my intent, this is how I want it to help my life, and then constantly doing it, not just drink a glass of water today that's cold and forget about it. It's something that you have to incorporate into your life every day. Yeah. But if you have like an instant transit, then just be like, okay, what's going on right now? Which is the typical thing. I have people text me, hey, something's going on right now. I had one yesterday texting me, can you please look? I've been crying, and it was Mars and South Node. And I'm like, go break a glass, because then she had an opposition with Mars too. And I'm like, go break a glass outside right now. Just, or like my daughter had that too. And I said, get a glass, we put it in a Ziploc bag, and I said, pick a weapon of your choice. Mars is your weapon. Moon is the glass. I'm like, now break it. My daughter still this day, that was one of the most, like, I want to say, the instant thing that happened. She was driving. This was her first time to take the car by herself. And from where it came into her chart, I just knew there's either going to be accidents or I'm going to change this, right? So I told her, before you take the car by yourself, this is what you need to do. And then also, because it comes from the third house, and however it came, if I remember, also could mean that there could be fires in the kitchen, which she had before. So I had her break a glass. She decided she was going to use a hammer. She would put it in a baggie. She broke that glass. I said, now you yourself put a little, half of it in one baggie and another one in another one, put it in the kitchen. She hid it. There was a Neptune aspect to it. I said, you hide it. So you're hiding the glass, and then you're hiding it in the car. And then right before she was leaving, I took a picture. Went inside, sent the picture out to my friends, and then I looked at the picture. There was a halo above her head, and I'm like, I know she's protected because
Oh,
we did this. And
wow.
still to this day, her car, she has her glass in there. In her kitchen, she has her glass hidden. So it's exciting when you get to see that aspect of it.
Wow, I love that. People asking Pluto transits or aspects in their horoscope, they're quite, Pluto are quite scary. Any Pluto transits or aspects in natal chart. What would
Yeah, well, I think,
you,
Pluto is where you can transform. So you have to use it to your highest good. What do you have to, oh, Lada? Okay.
I'm here, I'm just,
Okay.
well,
You're good. So, we got to use Pluto to transform our lives, not look at it as bad. We might lose something. I look, I look at it as, what do we need to cut out of our life? What do we need to get rid of? It's the garbage. Pluto, Scorpio rules like garbage and trash. So what do we need to clean out of our life, out of that area of, if it's transiting to your fourth house, instead of having somebody die, right? We don't want that. And sometimes, or you don't want things like that to happen. Clean out your house. Go through your house and throw any old things that you're no longer using anymore. Throw those out. Give them out to people. Give it to somebody in need. So refurbish something old, if it's in your fourth house, because your fourth house is your living room. So you can get your furniture and put new upholstery on it. You can change the colors of your tables, or just put some pictures of snakes and just have it hidden somewhere where nobody has, somewhere dark, because Pluto is the dark, the depths, and just hide things like that. But I think we got to use it to our advantage, and we don't want it. If we get scared, then we're doing the shadow side of it, and we're getting fearful. But we've got to be positive and look at, okay, what can I transform within this area in my life, and understand that. I think that's the best way.
so you give not only, I love what you're saying here, because, yes, I can hide some glass or whatever, but if I'm not working on, my internal issues, at least this stays there to remind you all the time what you have to work on.
Yeah.
And because I'm, for example, my hardest aspect's a Pluto aspect, as well.
Okay.
And I have a big shadow side, compulsive, obsessive, but I don't
Uh-huh.
want to let go of anything old. I'm like holding on to life, to things that don't serve me. And it's,
Yeah.
but maybe putting a symbol of snakes, hiding it somewhere, like you said, can
Yeah.
be a constant
Yeah.
reminder that you should let go. Don't, I'm horrified
Hmm.
of death and such stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But and then do the other manifestation of it's life, it's birth. Give birth to something new. Your emotion. If it's Pluto and Moon, give birth to a new emotion. What else? Emotionally, what else can I do? How can I transform myself emotionally? Get rid of those the Scorpio and Pluto is hatred. So release hate and give love, you know, and you can do simple things emotionally by saying, you know, if there's something that you hate and you say, instead of saying, I hate this, just be like, I bless you with love and release you from my life. Because you're giving, you're changing that, and you're changing your energy towards this object or that person. So instead of being like, I hate this or I don't like this, just I bless it with love and I release you from my life, and then let it go.
Because
Other things you can do is,
absolutely, but when Pluto is around, you're filled with, I can say even hatred. It's
yeah,
destructive.
yeah,
So not towards my people or you, towards people I've never seen, invisible people in power somewhere.
mm-hmm,
That's
yeah,
driving me crazy. So I need to like say, I release you, and to release that anger and that. This
yeah,
is great advice. Like, I have to keep
yeah. And then, you know, depending on where, you know, the moon is or where Pluto is, you can do research on death. You can read criminal books. You can watch a criminal movie and just get emotionally involved into that and say, oh, you know, instead of it manifesting in your life, you're changing the vibration somewhere else. You're directing the energy somewhere else. So watch a scary movie, you know, because it taps into your emotions. So if it's Moon Pluto, just watch a scary movie, even if you don't like it. Just be like, this is what needs to nourish my soul right now. This is what needs to nourish my emotions. So I'm going to watch this movie, and you know, maybe that'll help you decrease some of those fears or energies. And you know, the intention of, I'm doing this for my soul, I'm doing this for my emotions, or like I said, depending, you know, is it in your 11th house, you know, does it come from that aspect? Then get your friends to come over to the house and come watch this scary movie with me, or let's go to a haunted house because Pluto's something haunted, you know, moon is a house, so go to haunted houses, you know. It's,
it.
you can do so many, or you can just basically have a glass figurine of a snake. You can have a glass something, you know, they put like a scorpion in glass, and it's like a real scorpion, and you can have that as a keychain, and you can just walk around and carry that with you, because then that dead Scorpio, which both represents Pluto, is is in a solid form of
Mhm.
something glass, something clear. And
She's
then you have a little remedy, or you can do all of this with a picture. You know, you can have cactus in your home. So
practice.
moon is your house, so you can have cactus there. And if you feel really bad, just go over and hit the cactus and get that prick and be like, okay, that's good, you know. But you just want to be able to divert the energy. And
Wow, I remember, because I have Venus Pluto opposition by birth chart, and currently Pluto is squaring Venus. And before Nikola Stojanovic passed, because I was so worried, and he says, "Well, bury, because Venus rules my fourth house. Bury in your home a bird or a animal, kind of, because Venus rules my house as well.
yep,
So
okay.
yeah, bury animal and I said, you know what? My house is next to. I can see the where they bury people, what cemetery. He
Oh, the
said, "Oh,
cemetery.
you're perfect. Then you don't need to bury anything in your house. Your house is next to a cemetery."
Oh, you know what else you could have done is you could have went to a grave that you don't know, somebody unknown, because now you're doing something not only for you, but it's intentional giving. You're giving something to somebody else. You can take some roses or any type of flower to a grave and go put it there for that person, because it's helping you, but it's also giving something to that person who's passed. Maybe an unmarked grave, something that is, there's not a headstone, and you know, no one's taking care of it, or family aren't going there, and give it that way.
Wow, amazing. Something very interesting happened. I have a friend who wrote to me and she said, I had a dream of Nikola Stojanovic. Because I had a really bad period, I thought I was dying. I almost like felt like a psychic attack. I couldn't breathe. I'm still having a bit of problem, and it was on nervous tension. And she dreamed of Nikola Stojanovic because I had eclipse right on the Pleiades, that recent eclipse on the
Yep.
fourth house cusp. And she said, I dreamt of Nikola Stojanovic, and he told me to go and get a pearl necklace because the Pleiades, they're the tears of the seven sisters, and they're tied by pearls. So he said, he told me in the dream, tell Lada to go get pearls and bury them in the garden because it connects to
Nice.
the fourth house.
Yeah.
He appears even through dreams of other people. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I didn't do it, but I haven't been able to, but I should do it. And it's fascinating how someone can work from the other side as well.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
through you as
Yeah.
well. And there are people to carry on his legacy. Okay, one
Yeah.
last question one lady asked.
Okay.
She asked, Sun conjunct Uranus in seventh house. Any kind of remedy?
Sun conjunct Uranus. They have to do constant changes with their partner, their partner probably wears sunglasses, because the sun is sunglasses, and um, they're probably different, unique, so they got to do different you know outrageous type of things together. But I think you got to be proud of your your partner. If you're not proud of them, if they don't stand out, if they're not different or unique, then that's, they won't like that. But they can study astrology with their partner. So that would be something really good, is in collaboration with somebody, sitting there and sharing astrology, the stars, understanding that you want to use that to the highest one. But I think change too is freedom and working with big groups of people. So getting with your friends, going with your friends and going on holiday, that's probably one of the best things I would recommend
Oh,
is
Sun holidays
Sun is
and you're in.
holiday and Uranus is with your friends. So, and you want to do it with somebody, because seventh house is a partnership. So you don't want to do that alone. You don't want to go on vacation alone. You want to take a friend and you want to go someplace quirky, someplace, if you're going to Greece, you're not going to Athens, you're going to some totally different place, some off the beat place that it's not very popular, and then go and network and meet new friends, and but go with big groups of people. But that's probably the best thing I would say. Do something in partnership with a friend, networking, doing something for a cause, going on like walks or helping with freedom, and the internet too. You can go online and you can meet friends on the internet, with your friends, but certain things like that.
Michelle, I love your work. It's fantastic. We'll have Michelle soon, maybe to cover Venus aspects or something, because a lot of I've been getting like Venus, Venus, Venus. I have her aspect Venus, Saturn, Venus, Pluto, Venus, Mars. So Michelle is already with the AstroLada team. You can contact her for a private reading. She's, I don't know, have we done a promo or are we making a promo? I'm not sure. Or
I'm not sure if
okay.
Chrissy was posting my stuff today, but I have a remedy reading on there, and then
Yes.
I also do, yeah, I have a report where I could do an analysis of your name to let you know whether it's fortunate or not, and come up with spellings for it. And with that also, I'll look at like your home address, because I can change the frequency of your home just by the address. Simple remedies that, just by putting a number inside the door will change the frequency for you.
Oh, really?
And
This is
then I have
brilliant.
yeah, so not just remedies from your birth chart, from your numbers as well as business analysis. So I look at your business name, your email, your product names, the address. So those two are different reports, and then I have the remedy reading on there.
Is it good if your name is the same number as your house number? My house number is 28. Should be careful who I let in the house, huh?
Well, so if your house number is 28,
Yeah. Like
okay, so it reduces to 10. So it means that both of you have to be very cautious on your thoughts, because 10 is the instant manifester, and so whether you're positive or negative, either way, you are correct. Because
Oh,
if you both think negative, or one does, if Matt says this isn't going to work, it's not going to work. You have to both be aligned for what you want on both of your dreams together,
it's like
and just keep
once
the
you're
positive.
walking around, careful what you're gonna think, because the house gonna
It's
manifest it.
true, and we can
Like a
change it.
monster house.
We can change it by what you want. Like, if it is it love that you want, is it financial, freedom that you want. So we can change that, and I'll give you the remedy for that. But also the 28 does mean that you got to be careful with who you trust coming into your house, because sometimes people will come in there with, they might have bad intentions, whether they want to gain something, or, it could be something little, but just a caution is, be careful who you trust, be careful who comes in your house, but always say the intention, which will help, is I only allow people who are going to be for our highest goods for our entire family come in here.
I love that. I remember it. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Michelle. I can't wait to have you many times. Now, we were just throwing questions at you and you
Yeah.
answered them immediately. Next time, if you want, we'll focus on one specific topic, but I
Okay.
gotta speak more often with you. This is so revealing. Thank you so much, Michelle. Anyone who would like to have a reading with Michelle, you can contact her. I'll put a link below for remedies and numerology as well, and astrological remedies. So yes, welcome to the team. I'm so excited to have
Thank
you.
you.
Good luck, and
Thank you.
please continue the work the great Nikola Stojanovic, plus your own work and your own mission to unfold according to the highest good for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
Have a
Thank you for
great
having me. It's a pleasure.
thank you. Bye. Thank you
Thanks.
for
Bye.
joining us, and have a great weekend,